with everything I know about boxing, I wouldn't have been mad at him having a real tune-up against a mid-range guy, maybe 20-11 or something, a guy that's just going to, give him some rounds, but can knock the ring rust off. And that's like a thing of the past. Guys just don't do that. They rather get the big bucks and roll the dice, so to speak.
They both need each other, but I want to see Spence with the great comeback. That's why I'm going with Spence.
I reckon I stopped this guy, man, earlier than Crawford. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, man, that's going to be a great fight. If Errol going to be himself, he should win.
It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tszyu. Heck yeah, I really want to see him win. I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything. He'll look great.
A former boxing legend has just revealed the biggest weakness that could destroy a superstar's career for good. Errol Spence Jr. is planning a huge return, but people close to the sport believe he is stepping into a serious danger in Australia. The boxing world is completely divided as Spence gets ready to face the dangerous Tszyu on his home ground. Everyone is asking one big question. Can the former champion survive the non-stop pressure, or are we about to see the heartbreaking end of a once unforgettable career?
Errol Spence. There's rumors, there's buzz. He might be coming back to fight Tszyu. I think Errol even kind of said, yeah, I'm coming back. Yeah. So is that a good fight for him coming off of what's it been, like 2, maybe 3 years?
Is it a good fight? Yes. But the question marks surrounding him are there. And, because he's been so absent from the sport, he's been inactive. He is coming off, that really bad loss to Terence Crawford. How much is really left in the tank? Only him and his team will really know at this point. How is he going to react to punches on fight night? We're never going to know. But honestly, Tszyu is coming off a really bad run himself. Mm-hmm. So I do actually think it's a good matchup in terms of timelines, their timelines crossing. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. It's not like we're throwing, Errol right into Virgil Ortiz.
Right.
That I would be very concerned about and really wouldn't want to see that. But this?
Former multi-division champion Antonio Tarver did not hold anything back while explaining why he believes Spence is in real danger, saying the former star has no defense at all. Tarver pointed straight to the one-sided loss Spence suffered against Terence Crawford, saying he showed no head movement, could not avoid even a basic jab, and completely failed to adjust once the pressure started building.
He even at the second fight, he was landing though. You know what I mean? He gonna get his off. We just don't know if he can receive the power or have the punch resistance that he used to have, and we'll see how sharp Errol gonna be after almost 3 years off. Will it take 4 or 5 rounds for him to get in his rhythm? And he's gonna need his rhythm in this fight. Behind a real controlling jab. He's gonna have to control Tszyu, everything, right there in front of him. He's going to have to keep that jab in his face. And I think his activity is going to be important. Is he throwing combination punches, or is he just, in there loading up with one shot? Is he tapped in with his quick twitch muscles? Is he coming off of just the counter shots? Is he making it, is he defensive minded? So we know he goes good to a body. I think that's, is something he'll be able to do, every time he step in the ring. But can he make these guys miss? Can he give these guys angles? Can he use that footwork? Bro? That remains to be seen. But and again, Errol Spence ain't no spring chicken, bro. We talking about a guy 36 years old, you know what I mean? And he's fighting a guy 31. Let's keep that in mind. Age, father time.
Analyst Max Kellerman also shared his opinion, saying that when a top-level pressure fighter loses even half a second of defensive reaction speed, the decline happens fast, and there is no way to stop it.
I'm seeing a damaged good fighter in Tszyu and a guy that's been inactive for 3 years. Of course, both of them are not going to look nowhere near like they used to, but I see a little vulnerability with Tszyu against southpaw punchers, and Errol Spence was an incredible southpaw, maybe a Hall of Fame southpaw, who knows in the future. But Spence, he's one of these fighters that can get up for a big fight, and Tim Tszyu is probably one of these big fights that he can win. I would think, yes, it's a coin flip, but I would edge Errol Spence on this one. I don't care if they fight in Australia, because stylistically, Tim Tszyu is a sucker for left-handers.
Look, I don't disagree with you fundamentally on paper, but Errol Spence has not been the same guy he was for years. He has been a much more cautious fighter in his last few fights, and I'm looking at it now. Sean Porter, I think that was before the car stuff. Danny Garcia, that was right after, I believe. Yordenis Ugas. He's fought since 2019. He has fought 3 times. So it's not just 3 years of inactivity. He's fought 3 times in the last, almost 7 years. So that's something you got to take into account here, man. Like Errol Spence, he's not super old at this point, but you got to factor in the inactivity, the long layoff. I think Errol Spence is a better fighter than Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu is now riding a 2-fight winning streak here. He's gone 20 rounds over the last 2 fights. He's started to build some measure of confidence, I'm guessing, as he gets back, tries to round back into form. I think he's lost something off his fastball, but I don't know what Errol Spence's fastball looks like anymore.
Tim Bradley added even more doubt by saying that staying out of the ring for 3 years is simply too long, especially for a fighter who still has major defensive problems to fix. Even undisputed champion Sebastian Fundora believes Spence is up against it, saying that ring rust and a hostile Australian crowd will reveal a fighter who is no longer at his best. Still, not everyone believes the former unified champion is finished.
The athletic fighter who can punch and has some skills and is tough and is willing to use those skills aggressively. A lot of times fighters can hide behind, if they have a big athletic advantage, they can hide behind that and minimize risks. So just why not play it safe?
Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather has defended Spence against the criticism, reminding everyone that true skill never disappears and a real champion always finds a way to adjust when facing the toughest moments.
I want the best for Errol Spence. If I was training him, I don't think he should be fighting at 147 at all. I don't even think he should be fighting at 154. I think he should be fighting at 160 or 168. That's just my honest opinion. On certain fighters, when they want to fight, our job is to line it up. Us fighters, we're warriors. We always want to fight the best. It's just how it is.
Former 2-division champion Zab Judah is also fully supporting Spence, saying that Tsayu's direct aggressive style is the ideal matchup for him. Judah believes anyone who stays right in front of the big fish ends up getting broken down, and he is predicting a clear late-round stoppage victory.
Getting the names, your last fight, you fought Tim Tszyu. You won that one. It's speculated that he's going to be the fight that Earl comes back on. Can you give me some insight, since you were in the ring with him, and if you think that would be a good fight or not for Earl?
I think it's an interesting fight. This guy's been losing. Tszyu's been losing, but at least he's been active, At least he's been active. Spence hasn't been seen anywhere in boxing, in the ring, wise.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think losing to Crawford like that, then taking the layoff like that, and then getting the car accidents, these things are bigger losses than just the losses that Tszyu had, I favor Tszyu in the fight. I won't be surprised if Spence knocks him out or win. I mean, Spence is still one of the top dogs, You can never take that away from him, But it's just too much of a layoff, That's way too much of a layoff for anybody in anything, You just can't expect to come back into the ring and be that guy who you were before.
On Sports Debate shows, Shannon Sharp strongly supported that opinion, saying fans are judging Spence only because of the Crawford fight and have forgotten how dangerous he is when fully healthy. Even the man who defeated him, Terence Crawford, has spoken in his favor, rejecting the claims that Spence is completely finished as a fighter.
Yo, what you think? Your boy Spence.
I like him. Ronnie Shields is doing a marvelous job with him. He's got him moving his head and throwing punches. That's the Ronnie Shields movement. Yep, I remember these days. Move your head, throw the punches, slide around, keep moving. Move your head, slide around, keep moving. Walk your feet. Use the jab. I mean, listen, I know for a fact we're going to see a different Errol Spence than we've seen in the Terence Bud Crawford fight. And I'm predicting that Errol Spence stops Tim Tszyu. 100%.
My boy says stops. Yo, you've been doing good with the stoppages lately, Soup.
I've been doing good, man. I've been on a roll, right? I've been on a roll.
You calling them stoppages.
a late stoppage. The reason why I pick a late stoppage because Tim Tszyu is gonna be very sharp early. He's gonna be looking to fight. He's young. He got a lot of heart. He's ferocious. He has tenacity, and he's gonna come in there and try to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think that maybe for a while because of Errol Spence's layoff and you know the long layoff, he's gonna take him a couple rounds to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But once he figure it out, I think later on in the fight, the big fish will turn back into the big fish, and he'll walk Tim Tszyu down, and he'll get a late stoppage. I'm predicting around the 9th round, though. Maybe the 9th round. The 9th round sounds pretty kosher to me.
The debate among boxing legends has turned the story into a huge mental challenge for Spence to deal with. When Hall of Fame fighters openly question the core of your boxing skills, the pressure going into such an important comeback becomes even greater. Every expert will be watching closely for any sign of doubt, and the smallest defensive mistake will instantly be used to support all the strong warnings repeated throughout the media.
I'm definitely a fan of boxing. You know, I'm gonna be in Australia. I'm gonna be.
I know you're gonna be over there. Yeah,
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on. Yeah. You know, I just like to support, you know, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots locker room supporting him. You know, so yeah, it's just crazy how the tables turn. You know, when people get to a certain plateau and they forget about things like that.
We picking Earl.
Of course.
Of course. Sean.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sean better.
We gotta see.
Wow. B-side is more towards Tim. I'm definitely towards Errol. I just feel like Errol, even though, you know, we haven't seen him in 3 years now, I think he still has more than enough to beat Tim. All that said, I hate saying it because I've been over there so many times broadcasting for Tim. I got to look this man in the eyes, and for the first time, I'm gonna have to look him in the eyes like, yo, I know you heard everything I said. So
I told him to his face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's cool. It's cool to be. See, and this is what I don't understand why people take it so hurtful. When we in like England and places like that, or overseas, like they tell you, and it's okay. Like, hey, you're a great fighter, but I think he's gonna win. Yeah. Afterwards, it's all cool. It's just a opinion that they have on one fight. It's cool to have different opinions.
And for me, when it goes the other way, I say, hey, I wasn't in that man's camp. I don't know what he was up to. I wasn't with him the night before his fight. I don't know what he was up to. When he went
That's an excuse. You make an excuse.
When he went in the ring and did something I ain't think he was gonna do, I ain't know.
No, you gotta just say I was wrong. Just say I was wrong. Congratulations.
Hey, be easy, bud. We'll see you next week.
That mental pressure is exactly what a relentless fighter like Tim Tszyu wants to take advantage of. The Australian star is not focused on simply outboxing his opponents. He keeps moving forward and wears them down with constant heavy punches. From a style standpoint, Tszyu is a very difficult opponent for someone being criticized for poor head movement. The rivalry has also become personal after Tszyu revealed he has held a grudge for years because Spence publicly called him trash, and the younger fighter has openly said he wants to cause serious damage in the ring.
I guess this is exactly what you're talking about, right? What you said right at the end, roll the dice. You're in a position to fight for belts, but the Spence fight is very lucrative, and it's also a big fish to catch as far as to add something on your resume. Spence still is, there's still a lot of question marks about Spence. He's Mr. No tune-ups, so we haven't seen him since the Crawford fight. But he may be susceptible. You may be able to catch him at the right time. Listen, if you're Team Tszyu, you probably want to catch Spence right now. He's coming off the destruction of against Crawford. Prior to that destruction against Crawford, he hadn't been very active. He'd been in car accidents. He had a retina surgery. So if you're Tim Tszyu and Team Tszyu in general, you're the number one contender in the WBO when you win this fight. But why not take that chance and you get Errol Spence at a time where you probably want to catch him on paper? From the looks of it, it's the time you want to catch Errol Spence, and maybe gives you your best chance to beat him.
The biggest question surrounding this fight is the hidden physical damage Spence may have suffered outside the ring. People close to the sport, along with several analysts, have quietly wondered if his reflexes and vision have slowed down for good, which could mean the defensive weaknesses Antonio Tarver pointed out are now a lasting physical problem instead of simply the result of one bad performance.
Take us through Fight Night. What do you think Fight Night's going to look like? If you could paint this perfect picture of how this fight goes.
I want to come in red hot. No feel out this time around. Just come in red hot, and I want to go in and really just go for his head straight away.
That's what you want. Is that also what Jeff wants?
I don't know. I haven't
talked about that yet.
To him.
Okay, well, let's hope that that's what Jeff wants. That way, there's no, we don't see him.
Yeah.
Sean Porter's in the corner on Fight Night because Jeff. That's what you want. Do you think that's the best way to go about? It sounds like, yeah.
Possibly, man. Possibly.
Yeah.
I want to. The 3 years that he's had off, you sort of just want to take him by surprise. Like this is what we're in for.
Yeah.
Remind him of the good old days.
Yeah. You look at the fight he had with Terence Crawford, and obviously we saw Terence Crawford handle him in ways that nobody has ever handled Errol Spence Jr., amateur or pro. You don't have a Terence Crawford style, but did you see some deficiencies in Errol's game against Terence that you hadn't seen before?
Yeah, of course. He was really exposed.
Right.
There's no such thing as invincibility.
Right.
And Terence Crawford proved that on Errol Spence.
Right.
If those physical problems are truly there, then everything is already in place for things to go wrong. The experts picking Tszyu believe the Australian will overwhelm Spence with non-stop punch volume, taking full advantage of the same poor head movement that Tarver criticized. Their prediction is that Tszyu will earn a mid to late round stoppage on home soil using Spence's 3-year layoff and the difficult training camp that reportedly forced his team to move the contract to the 160-pound limit just to make the weight. Tarver even confidently said he is the only person who can correct those defensive flaws, but claimed the top people in boxing will not allow him to join Spence's corner.
With everything I know about boxing, I wouldn't have been mad at him having a real tune-up against a mid-range guy, maybe 20-11 or something, a guy that's just going to, give him some rounds, but can knock the ring rust off. And that's like a thing of the past. Guys just don't do that. They rather get the big bucks and roll the dice, so to speak. But yeah, man, I think Tszyu, being at home, all of his fans going to be there. They giving Tszyu a lot of momentum coming into this fight. A lot of momentum. Even though as of late, especially with the Fundora fights, he took a lot of punishment, and right now, people don't really know if he's not a shot fighter at this time. We don't know that. So again, everything will be, revealed on Fight Night.
In the end, Spence is making the biggest gamble of his career, putting his entire boxing legacy on the line with a risky comeback to silence everyone who doubts him. He is stepping into the ring not only against a hungry young fighter, but also against the memories of his past injuries and the constant warnings from boxing legends who believe his best days are over. Now the whole boxing world is waiting to see whether this becomes one of the greatest comeback stories ever or the moment a legendary champion is finally pushed into retirement. That is all for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss our future uploads. Also share your opinion in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.